Hello there, music lovers, and welcome back to the Woodshed. This week was an epic week. I got to once again head into the hallowed halls of the Grand Ole Opry alongside Gary LeVox of Rascal Flatts. This time I was on lead guitar duties, which was super fun because that gig has some really fun guitar solos and hot dogging kind of moments in it. I had to play a couple of ballads, one of which is Gary's new single, Working on Sunday. The other one was a smash hit, What Hurts the Most, and then of course we wrapped it up with a scalding version of Life is a Highway. Later this week, I talked to my good buddy Myles Kennedy, who was playing just down the road in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the Signal on his Ides of March tour. And man, let me tell you what, I left that gig so inspired. What a freaking singer. Now, I've known Tremonti and Myles from Alter Bridge, and there's been a couple of instances where we've crossed paths, Shipwrecked being one of them. And of course, I've seen Myles sing with Slash. But at his show, he was doing a power trio kind of thing, not tracks, no other guitar player, just him, a bass player, and a drummer. And he had these really sick arrangements of his tunes that are like super produced, mega rock 3D guitars everywhere, and they were stripped down, like a really honest kind of vibe. He was using a little Tweed Deluxe and a PRS amp, if I'm not mistaken, and it was that, the bass rig and the drums, and so he had rearranged the tunes to fit that format. It was incredible. For those that don't know his singing, please stop, turn this video off right now. Turn the video off and go to Spotify, go to Apple Music, wherever you get your music, get some Alter Bridge, get Slash's records, get Myles Kennedy's solo records, and just enjoy that guy's phrasing. Now, outside of having crazy range, there's a lot of really killer details in the way he delivers vocal lines. He's got a really cool vibrato that doesn't sound like anybody else. His timing on his phrases are very unique to him. He's got a very special thumbprint, and I love it. It's just like the kind of singing in a rock and roll environment that I like. He does it. So combine that experience with the Opry playing those ballads and those kind of like cape blowing in the wind, eagles soaring over the mountain kind of guitar parts. It led me to inspiration to make this week's Woodshed episode, which is get your guitar to sing. Play more like a singer. Get the inspiration from singers. I'm lucky to have been around so many fabulous singers in my life. I think subconsciously I've drawn so much inspiration on phrasing from singers. And it makes the difference between playing guitar like Guitar Hero and just pushing buttons when the thing comes along and you sound like a Guitar Pro MIDI file and it's all square and not cool. It's the difference between that thing and that really elegant delivery of great guitar playing. Guys that have been on the channel, guys like Jack Gardner, Ariel Posen, my heroes like Dan Huff, Mike Landau, all these kinds of players, your Josh Smith, your Joe Bonamassa, your Ian Thornley, good Lord, you talk about another like powerhouse vocal who can just do ridiculous things on a guitar. They all have the one thing in common, they can make the guitar sing. It's not square in the delivery. It's using the ability to bend strings, manipulate pitch beyond just mashing a button and making the button make a tone. It's not that at all. So I've made a quick little video here on a couple of tips. Grab your guitar and let's see if you can get that thing to sing a little bit. Roll it. All right. Let's talk about getting the guitar to sing. Okay, so on the intro video, that song is tracked 1/2 step down. That's why I used Big Green. She's a metal machine. And I'm back on the main numero uno here. And there's a couple of ways that I like to think about this. One, you got to get your bends in tune. Now, bends can never... When you're playing an instrument like guitar, you got to realize that you're never going to be in tune like, say, a MIDI instrument or something like that. But you're wanting to be as in tune as possible. As a mandolin player, I deal with being out of tune all the time. That instrument's never in tune, but what can you do, you know? When you're doing the bends, a couple of little quick tips here for you. Bend with all of your fingers, or as many as possible. So you don't want to try to put all of the pressure of the string on just one finger. For example, let's take that D, it's playing D, and try to bend up to that third. So we're going to have, there's 1, 2, which is E, 3, which is F sharp. Let's try to bend to that. So we're going to, usually my middle finger is helping my first finger, or my third finger out, and sometimes my first finger is handling some muting duties. So these strings right here being muted out by this first finger. Let's just take a look at what we got. We're going to bend up to it. Putting the vibrato on the top is going to be one of the biggest challenges in getting that vibrato to sing. While it's up top, it's hard to control that vibrato. Again, unfortunately, this comes with practice. You're going to have to practice this to get it slick. The tip and trick here is to use the fingers behind the finger you're using to bend to get it in tune. Another tip that I like to use to get things to sing, and you probably heard me do it in the intro, is sliding backwards. This is like a Dan Huff Lukather thing. Let's just play in D. So you just have a target note that you're looking at, and you're going to quickly slide into it. And you kind of slide into it from about anywhere. Here's a really long slide. Here's a short one. So I'm just looking at D pentatonic. And to give, that's like your B minor, D major kind of area. And to give any of those lines a lot of love, it's a little trick that like I said, I stole from some of those West Coast guys like Huff and Lukather. Tim Pierce too is real slick at it. Hollering at you, Tim. Love you, buddy. Another thing would be if you have a guitar with a whammy bar on it, being able to hold a bend and not be ruthless with your whammy bar. Not this. Not that kind of thing. And one of the things I'm doing, this is a small little trade secret. And guys that I've seen that are really great with the bar, they're not holding the bar tight. The bar is actually moving in between the fingers and the palm of the hand. I've seen a lot of players do this, and I don't know if it's one of those things that everybody just gets comfortable with the tension and how it feels, but there's actually more movement in my hand than there is in the bar itself, right? I'm looking for a subtle vibrato when I use it. Okay, what's happening right here is going to lead us to the next point in getting the guitar to sing, and that is muting. You have to mute out, especially when you're using a lot of gain, a lot of distortion. I'm muting out the strings I'm not playing with my first finger. As you can see, I don't have one of these on at the time. Most of the time, this isn't on, but I do like these things. These are cool for folks that want to put them on and go crazy with some tippity-tappities and all that kind of stuff. But in general, if you don't have this, you still got to be able to get the job done, right? So that's what, the good Lord has given us some fingers back here to use. And it's really quite, it's quite a obvious principle and obvious practice, but it's a little more sophisticated in execution, I guess you'd say, where you're going to have fingers on the body end of the guitar, these fingers, be playing your notes, and reach up and cover out the strings that aren't being played. You can get all those notes to sing out. And what I just did in demonstrating muting will lead us to our next point, which is some really subtle pull-offs. That could be played one more time. That's just based around that D triad, as if I was going up to a 5 chord, you know. But you add just a little flourish. Now, I picked that up from a lot of mandolin and fiddle licks. That's kind of the place that I got it, but it's really nice. That kind of helps add some vocal, like Christina Aguilera acrobatics, you know what I mean, to your line. Another thing is not having to be exactly precise when you're doing things that are what I've stolen from faux slide players. So let's do that one more time. That line would be, if you were going to play it traditionally. This faux slide thing, I'm sliding up from the root. And in one quick motion, it's not really this, it's this. And it's got a different tone. So I'm actually playing an F. And when I said you don't have to be precise, I'm not exactly going to that major third. I'm going just right here. A quick flourish, I'm going to slow it down. Hammer on, all in one motion. And the last thing I want to talk about is when you're phrasing like a singer, you actually have to sing this stuff in your head while you're playing along with it. The music's got to come from your heart and your ears. Let your hands catch up with that. Don't put the hands first and let the ears and the heart try to catch up. So if you notice in All Ends Well, when Myles is floating through that chorus, it's not real square. It's not real boring and square. He's kind of floating. That's how I think about that melody. Let's take a swing at it. So in that motion, so in that melody, I'm doing all the things I just talked about. Subtle vibrato, half step bend from where I was. That's a long way up. It's really hard to hold it in this video and tell you what I'm doing. That's a step and a half. So I'm holding that. Whole step. Back down to my target note, which is the 6. So I'm playing 3 notes in that motion. And then when I drop down, I do the quick fleur. And do it there again. So that's going down to the 2. From the 3 to the 2. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? 7, 1, 5, then 6, 7. So just practice that melody. I don't think in exercises. I think in songs and melodies. And let those things be my ammunition for my practice time. So maybe just try practicing that melody and getting it to sing. And it sits right there in rock and roll D. Melody, you know, like I said, you're starting on the major 7. But that melody, one more time, is 7, 1, 5, and it's funny because like when I hear a vocal, there's so many bends and inflections, but the 7-1-5 is what sounded right on guitar. It's what felt good to me. Again, it's like trying to be rubber bandy and play through those notes and not just be very robotic. Like it's not that thing at all, you know? So you're going 5, 6, then you got a whole step bend up to the 7. And then you got that minor third bend. And then down to the 3 to 2. So use these tips and let me know in the comments what you think, and if you're having some progress here, getting the guitar to sing, being more than just putting your fingers down and playing Guitar Hero and pushing buttons, because that ain't the juice, baby. You want that thing to sing and be vocal and have a life, because that's where some real expression is in your own playing. Cheers. All right, thanks for hanging out this week in the Woodshed. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you patrons for the support on the channel. Without you guys, I couldn't continue to make these videos, so your support is very much appreciated. For those wondering what we have on Patreon, we have hundreds of lesson videos, literally hundreds of lesson videos. We have a weekly Zoom live masterclass, happens every week. We have access to my Discord channel, which has all kinds of things on it. The gear talk, mixing, harmonic talk, and then we've also got stuff in there for like video games, fitness, and all that kind of good stuff. It's a great community filled with some really great players and some great folks. And on top of that, if you seek those extra levels, you can do things like take a video of yourself playing, maybe make a recording of your solo, send it to me, and then I can evaluate it, respond, give you some tips and tricks on maybe how to take it to the next level. All of that is in the upper tiers of my Patreon, but even at the most basic tier of my Patreon, you get access to all of the videos. Every single video is available to the most basic tier of Patreon, so I appreciate you. Jump over to patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. All right, for tour schedules, bookings, where I'm playing, how to get my TrueFire courses, where to order my Surf signature guitar and compressor and Wampler gearbox pedal and all that kind of good stuff, jump over to AndyWoodMusic.com. It's going to link you to all of the things, the products, the lessons, the jam plays, the bundles with the Axe Effects tones and the backing tracks and the transcriptions. All of that is over at AndyWoodMusic.com. Thank you guys. We will see you real soon.